What is going on, golf fans? It's your boy Gsluke here with our round 2 live stream. This time we got the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Gonna break down some PGA DFS, also some props for tomorrow, and have ourselves some fun and hopefully go out there, find ourselves a few edges to take advantage of, and maybe add to the bankroll too. We got Jason down there, Jose. A little bit of tilting going on about players. I feel you on that. I have to say, Jose, welcome to the chat. But the take that Ekgoat has a better chance to go out there and make the cut than Matsuyama, not sure if I agree with. Carl's having a good start. He's got what? Suh, Woo, and Ryan your core. First off, heck of a start, bro. Yeah, like you said, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So keep it up, man. Keep that momentum. But you'd obviously rather be in a good spot after day one than dead last place with guys like +4, +5. So hats off to you, man. You can get excited about it. Yeah, I agree with you. He's probably going to shoot -8, honestly, right? I think the cut's going to be like -4, -5. Hit the like button. I love that. How many prize picks entries do you think you can lock in before you're forced to play combos? Do them now, as many as you human. I don't know if they're going to like refund them for you though, Clay. That might be the issue, right? Is they might look at your account, end up refunding you. If you guys haven't heard, in Alabama for prize picks, you can only enter combinations of players. I think it's the same thing on Underdog too. So that's kind of annoying. And yeah, Clay, I'd get them in quick if you're going to get anything done. Worth looking at the leaderboard right after the first round. This is the community contest here. And Soda Kid, I know somebody that oftentimes watches these streams, is there in first place. So if you're there in chat, talk your shit, Soda Kid. Good stuff. Up there with a score of 226 after round 1. They've got Snowman in second place. Big R Gamer, I know somebody that's a part of the Discord, Patreon, all that sort of fun stuff. So that's cool to see. About Paper ATM, okay. Provincial, seen him in a lot of these contests over the last few months. Primero, once again. Uzi Beats, the winner of the first ever community contest that we ran for Showdown. A lot of people up there, even Rage of Reason, like seeing him. He's one of our mods over there on the Discord. Glodka there. You got Damani, just obviously no Gsluke to be seen. In fact, you got to go the whole way down to 51st to find my lineup. So safe to say it was not the hot start that I was looking for. My only AM Wave golfer was Sam Ryder. So maybe that has a little bit to do with it, right? Conditions were significantly harder in the PM, which we're going to go through here in a second. But yeah, what, -7 from Ryder in the AM? I was like, oh, look at that, right? Feeling pretty solid going into the PM. And then +7 Tom Hoagie, like, Jesus Christ. JT +4, like it was not going my way. So this lineup was not only my community contest lineup, but I went with this in my single entries for this week too. So the bloodshed was not just in this $1 entry, unfortunately, but yeah, Hoagie's not making the cut. JT is almost for sure not going to make the cut, right? So I'm going to need Homa. I'm going to need Hostler to maybe pull off a miracle, maybe him or JT, one of those two to pull off a miracle. And then, yeah, some sort of 4 of 6 to take me to a min cash. So I guess we'll see if that ends up holding up. In terms of our round 2, we'll be doing another community contest, which, in fact, I'll go ahead and just throw a link down in chat for that. And we'll have some fun with that, too. So if you want to join it, it's $5 entry, single entry, and it's $100 entry max. So it's, obviously it'll resize if it doesn't completely fill, but a good way to get a little sweat on and talk your shit. We'll go through the lineups tomorrow. I'll be doing the same thing for rounds 3 and 4 too. And the payout structure, it's about a 10% rake. So it's not a rake free contest. Maybe if we do this enough, right, we start to fill these up, get some attention from Draftkings, maybe they'll give us a rake-free showdown contest. We'll have to see, right? But we've got to work our way towards that. So I think the payout structure makes sense. It's top 15 get paid. That'll get sized down if it's less than 50 entries, I believe. So it all kind of depends on how many we get in there out of 100. But either way, it's pretty flat payout structure. And should work out relatively well. Let's take a look at the golf course. We'll go through some of the wave stuff here in a second. Let's see. Gus Card, yesterday you decided for Fowler, Sanjay, in Finau for the make the cut parlay. Hopes for Finau? Yeah, I'd say so. What is he, even par at this point? He actually might have ended up under par. Let's see what even par exactly at the end of round 1. Yeah, he's got a chance, right? You could definitely shoot something like 5-6 under par. I'd say the PMT time isn't real helpful for him, right? You'd want him going off early tomorrow in pristine, perfect conditions. But yeah, if anyone's going to do that, Tony Finau, definitely your guy. And there's going to be more than a handful of guys. It's probably going to be 15, 20 guys that were way outside the cut coming into tomorrow that end up making the cut, right? It's that kind of course. You can shoot 6, 7, sometimes even like 8, maybe 9 under par, like we saw from Ludwig there for a little bit. It's definitely out there. The mullet lives. It won't be for long. Need you to come down and give you the buzz cut. My brother wants to do it, actually. He's the one, by the way, that I told that I would also go out there, like shave my head if he did. So I'll let him have the honors, but I appreciate the offer, man. And Underdog, yeah, you got to get in those cards before they lock you out of there, Clay. That's just a tough scene that the DFS sites there in Alabama changed up their process. But what can we do about it, right? What can we do? Let's hop into this golf course. So if we split this by wave, you'll see it's kind of like the tale of two halves, right? In the green, we've got the morning wave, and then over here in blue, that's the PM wave. About a little bit less than 3/4 of a stroke difference between the two waves. But when we sort this by some of the top end scores, it is dominated by AM players, right? Like Taylor Moore was PM. Let's see. Adam Schenk, I think, was a PM wave golfer that played pretty well. Dylan Wu, too. Actually, Justin Suh did, too. So I guess a few more guys up here than I'll give credit for. But, Ryder, AM wave. Sam Bennett, AM wave, right? Aaron Rye, AM wave. Ludwig, AM. Peter Kest, right? AM wave golfer. Morikawa, AM. Gim, AM wave. Fowler, AM. Chris Kirk, AM wave. There's some PM guys mixed in there, but there was about a 3/4 of a stroke difference. So tomorrow, at least from the weather perspective, it looks pretty consistent to what we saw today. We'll go through a few models here in a second, but the PM wave does look like it's going to have slightly higher wind gusts, slightly higher sustained winds like what you have in the morning. So that combined with the greens getting firmer and faster throughout the day, the POA on these greens, it's something that, we learn more and more about this golf course, right? Every round that we see, right? We're on the 5th year of this golf tournament. So still things that touts, people like myself, right, are trying to pick up about the track. The POA really buds at this course. Early in the week, I believe my course breakdown, I was quoted as saying that I wasn't sure if the POA was going to be a huge factor. Well, today, at least the announcers, right, were giving a lot of credit to that. You could see some of the balls bobbling. In fact, 2 of Sanjay M. birdies really shouldn't have gone in. They were bobbling all over the place and ended up like bobbling into the hole. So sometimes you get lucky with the POA. Sometimes you get shafted by the POA, bumping your ball one direction or the other. But, I'll just say that I'm taking back that, take, right? I do think that it impacts play. I think that's why that 0.7 shot difference probably existed. And then for some of the other factors, right? The winds, the firm and fastness of the greens. Like I was preluding, it looks very similar for Friday. So this is the HRRR model. You can see, especially from like 4 p.m. onward, the winds get especially gnarly. They go over here to the NAM model. They're calling for the winds to come in a little bit earlier, albeit a little bit less severe, right? So rather than something closer to like 20 mile an hour wind gusts, rather than closer to even like 13, 14 miles an hour of sustained winds, it's more spread out and like I said, a little bit more mild. So pretty much no matter what forecast we're looking at, that PM wave is going to get the short end of the stick, like you see for 90% of PGA DFS slates. So, we've been over this before. All of us that have been around on this channel for quite some time know that the AM wave almost always has the better end of the draw. And tomorrow, no difference, right? There's no wacky weather wave to go after. The only real X factor could be if there was thunderstorms there in the afternoon, which yesterday, right? Remember, they were calling for that slight chance. But if we look through a lot of the weather models here, not many of them are calling for rain, and pretty much none of them, right, are calling for thunderstorms. So you can see Meteo Blue calling for a little bit of rain, a little bit of actually morning rain being called for here in this icon model, but nothing in terms of thunderstorms, right? Something that's going to end up stopping play. So I'm looking at the AM wave for some of my plays, but not for all of them because, right, just to remind you, Taylor Moore shot -8. He was in the PM wave today, right? And there was a 0.7 shot difference. Adam Schenk, right? Dylan Wu, for example, Justin Suh. If you're not playing guys in the PM wave just because, right, they're in the PM wave, you might be keeping yourself away from some decent GPP plays. Now, with that being said, right, if there's going to be an advantage, right, most of your plays probably should be in the AM. But if there's somebody that's going severely underutilized in the PM, well, you might want to take a little look at them. And we have ownership. We actually have my entire spreadsheet going to be available for this stream. So I'll go ahead and bring that up right now. Typically, guys, this is what you can download on my Patreon, right? Normally, I black out a lot of the projections on here, post it there for my Patreon people. I'm just going to lift the entire curtain for today. So everything's going to be on there. And you'll get an idea for how I do these projections, right? How many players I'm normally playing. And for tomorrow, it's going to be for 80 lineups. So I'm playing quite a few. So in terms of your PM wave golfers, right? I just told you, right? You want to take mostly AM guys, but something we've started to notice with Showdown, and this is honestly even the case with 4-round stuff. When there's a weather edge to be had, people are getting sharper. And for 4-round contests, sometimes that's a 3 to 5% bump that you see for one wave or the other. Just 3-4 weeks ago, you saw that dynamic where people were projected in like the 16 to 17% range and came in 20% plus owned. And all of them did, all the guys in the same wave. For Showdown, you've started to see that same sort of edge, maybe a little bit smaller, I would say, because I feel like there's a slightly more casual crowd that plays Showdown than what you see for a lot of the main slate contests. But even with that, you still see like a 3, sometimes 4 to 5% bump with ownership in the AM. That means that guys that aren't even all playing that all that well. So like a JT, for example, right? He's like +4 at this point. I have higher projected owned than Tony Finau because I know people are going to play JT, the bounce back in the morning, because he's in the AM wave, right? And to me, when Tony Finau in my projections is coming in lower owned than JT, he's actually playing pretty decently, I'd rather take him in the PM wave, right? So it's, not all about this advantage. I think especially down low, it plays maybe a bigger factor when it comes to my projections and the sort of players that I'm trying to get to. But up top, I think it opens up a few spots of value, like Tom Kim, for example, right? Another guy in the PM wave that I think is going to get underexposed just because of the fact that he's playing in slightly harder conditions. And sure, it's harder for him to go out there, have that nuts round, but he's, I would say, at least like 1.5 times lower owned than he should be, if not like in some cases, right? With some of the guys that I'm getting to in the PM, like 3 times lower owned than they should be. So let's find a few more examples. There's a few PM guys I'm playing. Again, most of them right towards the top of the board. A few towards the bottom, right? Like a JJ Spawn, I've got it just 8.1%. That was despite being close to 15, 16% in some GPPs this morning. And he still shot -2, right? Not all that bad of a round, right? But because he's in the PM wave, no one wants to play him tomorrow, right? There's going to be some people that take him because it's JJ Spawn. Maybe they don't even know when he tees off, right? They're just sitting on their toilet on the DK app, just clicking in tee times or whatever. And JJ Spawn's going to get clicked by maybe a handful of people like that, but not all that many, right? People that are playing the edge out there, doing that sort of thing, might unintentionally just talk themselves off of all of these PM guys that I think still have guys that can go out there and have spike performances. So like I said, I hate to use the performances from today. Hindsight's 2020, obviously, but a lot of guys in the PM wave in harder conditions still got the job done. In terms of your value plays, there's a lot that I'm getting to. We'll go through a few specifics later, but my player pool goes the whole way down to, let's see, I believe Tano Goya is probably the cheapest guy that I had in there. Is that right? Yeah. Cheapest guy I had in there at $6,400. So kind of like main slate, right? I'm going more of a studs and duds kind of approach because pricing is soft for Showdown. I don't think you have to go down to the bottom end of the 6K range. But if you do, right, you could start with 2-3 guys from the 9K plus range, especially with how soft the pricing is down there at the 7s. Let's catch up on chat, see what's going on down there. Then we'll go through a few plays that I really like there. We were 1 birdie from winning a Starka. Okay. You talking about for like an outing that you had? Damn, that would have been pretty cool. Cole, what's going on? You finally made it live. Well, welcome on in. We love to have you. I'm trying to do more live streams in the morning hours because I know a lot of people, right? More morning people can consume content then. Maybe they're just more free during the morning hours. Try and get you in there, but I'd like to have you here, man. Welcome on in. Is JT still broke? Who knows? Probably, right? I think the real answer is that he's in a slump, right? Last week probably showed a little bit of promise, but that little bit of promise probably means that he's moving in the right direction. We'll have to see how he plays tomorrow. If he goes out there, he shows a little bit of fight, maybe, and he's probably not making the cut. It's not crazy here. Putting up a fight doesn't mean go out there and make the cut. He goes out there, shoots like 5 under par tomorrow, though. I don't know. I don't know if I'm that worried about him. Gim, you had him in a few lineups. He did pretty well. Yeah, unfortunately, and I meant to mention this. I should mention this in every stream we do, right? A lot of ownership in Showdown, whether it's round 2, whether it's round 3, or even round 4 Showdown, has a lot to do with the leaderboard. And round 4 Showdown, it kind of makes sense, right? Especially if you think about it from like the projected point standpoint, because you are getting placement points after round 4. But round 2 and round 3, a lot of the guys at the top of the board will be twice as owned as they probably should be. And there's not really good reasoning for it. Where's Doug Gim? I got him at 7.9%. So I don't think it's that bad. I'm playing Gordon Sargent, for example, right? He's 12.5% owned. But I guess the difference for me here is that Sargent's in the AM wave. And what do I have the projections at? Like, actually, Sargent a little bit lower. But in terms of ceiling, Sargent's ceiling is like 60, 65 fantasy points. It's up there with the elite tier guys, up there in the 8, 9, 10K range. So, yeah, I'm okay with Doug Gim. I just, he's getting some ownership, right? Especially after going out there having the round that he did. In greens of regulation, in Kim, birdies are better. So you're going for unders on those, or you're saying for props. If you're saying for props, okay. Like I said, you can tilt all you want, but I don't get the point of it going into my chat and saying that. Like cool. Yeah, I missed what I pushed on greens and I missed on Tom Kim. Like shit happens, bro. What happens to Hideki? He hit a bad round. That's golf, man. That's just sometimes how the cookie crumbles with golf, right? If you've been doing this, long enough, I'd say more than a week, right? You should probably know that, right? You play PGA DFS, most of your guys are going to suck, right? Of the field, of the 156 players, 10 guys can finish top 10, right? And that's kind of what you need for a large field GPP. I think it's about perspective, right? I played 150 lineups, and of my set of 150, I have like 10 right now that I feel good about, right? Where I have like 6 guys up there in the top 25 that are up there in like the top, let's say 500 to 1,000 of the GPP. Of 150 lineups. Like if you guys are going out there expecting to just put in 2-3 lineups and just be binking contests, like you've got to adjust your expectations. Like you've got to kind of sit back, realize what you're playing against, right? Especially if you're in a large field GPP. So I'll just say that. Yeah, Hideki, not a good round though. No real explanation. He looked like his swing was off. If you're just asking in terms of like what's going wrong, it looked like everything was going wrong. Honestly, the putter wasn't really the problem. He wasn't missing a lot of those short putts. It was the ball striking. It was off the tee. It was a little bit off in terms of the accuracy, and his irons looked broke. In terms of JT, I meant to mention this too. He also looked broke. Like that's why I'm not playing them tomorrow. Like they legitimately looked just beyond repair. Like they were searching for their golf swing. Granted, they could go out there tomorrow, find it on hole 1 and shoot like 7 to 8 under par, but you're kind of banking on that, right? Them going out there overnight, right? Without having a huge range session, right? They don't have much time to go out there, work on their game to find that spark. So yeah, I would be wary of those two, frankly. You lost those props. Im got 14, so he should have pushed for you there. Either way, man, coming into a chat and chirping somebody over a prop that you missed, kind of a bitch move on your part. Just got to say that. It's a little bit of a bitch move. Let's move into some of our top plays. So we talked about Tony Finau, right, as a PM wave option. But in the AM wave, I'm trying to back some of the guys that played well but aren't mega chalk, right? And I think a perfect description for that would be like a Max Homa, right? $9,900, -3. He shot better than the field average. But even with that, I've got him at like 20% ownership. He's not egregiously over-owned. It's not like 30, 35% owned. And if I could take him in 40% of my lineups tomorrow, maybe even half my lineups and get leverage, I'm going to feel pretty solid about that. So he's one of those conviction plays that I'm taking. Sungjae Im, same thing. AM wave tee time played pretty well today in some slightly harder conditions. Cam Davis, he hit 17 of 18 greens today. I know that because I took his under 13.5 greens. So that one did not work out for me today. Then he went out there, I believe he hit 9 of 14 fairways. Yeah, he pushed that, right? So he hit 9 of 14 fairways. That's pretty decent, right? I'd say for him, that's much better than usual, right? That was once again a prop that I took for the under for, and then he ended up pushing for it. So the ball striking today was not the problem. It was the flat stick. And Cam Davis can be a little bit streaky there, but in the AM, I think he's going to go out there, ball strike it up again. And once again, only 15% owned. Like these sort of players, they played decently in round 1, But like, unlike Alberg, right? Unlike, Sanjay is getting some ownership, right? He's like 26% owned. So let's not kid ourselves there. He's mega chop, but he's not 34, 35% owned Ricky Fowler, right? So it's not Ricky Fowler in the PM that makes me hate him. It's the fact that he's just like so much egregiously higher owned than the guys around him. I guess the one real mega chalk I'm playing would be Sanjay. It's worth pointing out. No real rhyme and reason for it other than he looked like a pretty balanced player today. Wasn't really leaning on one category more than the others. In terms of our 8K options, I don't love this range. I didn't love it for main slate, but a few guys I'm taking shots on at super low ownership. Steven Yeager, I've got it 6.6%. He's a PM wave tea time. So, like I was mentioning before, like these guys, even the guys that played pretty decently, like a Yeager today, are going to be lower owned than they probably should be. Like, because especially when you have like an Auberg around him, right? Like Auberg, right? I know he's also another PM wave tea time, but like everyone wants to play this guy tomorrow. And I think I have this down right. I'm pretty sure he shot -7. Let's change that. I know for a fact that he did actually. So I'll have to upload the new version afterwards. But yeah, like when you have a huge ownership magnet like Ludwig next to him, Yeager makes quite a bit of sense. Let's see. We got Smalley on there. I know I like Smalley quite a bit. Eckroat, right? I know somebody mentioned him making the cut. He's got shoot like -6. So I like that, right? I like the fact that he's motivated. I have to say, I don't know, Hideki's -3, right? Like I'd rather Hideki to make the cut, right? In terms of odds than somebody like an Eckroat, but it's definitely possible for both of them. It's just, I don't know, Hideki, at, even with one shot disadvantage, like he's probably going to get it done a little bit more. Smalley there, except Straka. Straka is going to be, I feel like this 10% mark might even be a little bit low when it comes to the ownership. So yeah, I kind of worry about what that was Straka's ownership. He might be a little bit high there. This range down here from Aaron Rye down to Taylor Moore. So it's Rye, Justin Suh, Taylor Moore. These three players are going to be royally overowned. You have Aaron Rye, right, who's tied for the lead. You have Suh and Moore, right, who actually, Rye's one off the lead. You have Suh one off the lead. Taylor Moore tied for the lead there, all getting close to 20% ownership. So I think that's why my algorithm was putting the ownership a little bit lower on guys like Sepp Straka, because so many people are just going to, save the $300, $400, go down to one of these players and then spend up at one of their other 6 spots. So in GPPs tomorrow, I'm just fading them. Right? I know they played decently in round 1, but it's golf. It's a hard sport. Guys like JT shot +4 today. Guys like Tom Kim, right, had a horrible round where like the nuts picked this week. In fact, let me just leave you with this. 7 of the top 10 highest owned plays this week in DFS ended up going out there and shooting over par today. Now, some of them are like +4, like some of them were +3 over par, right? Like a JT and a Hideki. Some of them were +1, right? Like Benny Ann. But either way, those top end players, just because they're projecting well, doesn't mean that they're going to play well. So these high end plays for tomorrow, you might want to consider fading for yourself. A few other guys in the 7K range we'll point out. We're not going to go through every play here. Hostler, I like as a bounce back. He's going off early. Sam Stevens, PM wave. Don't hate him. He's got a lot of upside. Kid makes a bunch of birdies. Same thing with Akshay. And gotta say, that exposure hurts. I played a bunch of Bhatia this week. If there's anyone that screwed me the most, it's Akshay, because I feel he's, at least in my GPP lineups, he's in a lot of my top lineups that have like one guy going wrong. And they're all Akshay Bhatia, right? That guy that's going sideways. So yeah, if he can somehow make the cut, go out there, shoot like 6-7 under par, would not be against that. That'd be pretty sweet. Vince Norman, stud. Love him in the 6K range. It's the Svenny, Luke List. I always love taking these guys in a showdown contest. Matt Wallace loves this golf course. Pat Kazire's an absolute nuts guy. What else we got here? Carl Wan loves making birdies. Peter Amanati. There's I don't know. You guys, if you're on the Patreon, right, you can see all my player pool, right? You can see some of the guys I have marked down as a yes down here, but it's high upside players, mostly AMT times, or you'll see, especially down here in the 6K, like what, Lanto's a PM wave. There's not many PM guys down here. Let's see, I guess Baddeley would be one of those guys. That's a PM wave tea time down here. Luke List. But outside of those 3, the rest are all AM wave guys. So clearly, right, I'm favoring the Weather Edge a little bit more down low, and that would be my recommendation. Right up top, there's a PM wave guy that you see that's just too low owned that you think you should get exposure to, leverage to the field. Go ahead and do so. Right down low, you got to really like someone to take them out of that disadvantaged wave. So those would be my recommendations for DFS. We'll go through some lineup construction stuff here in a second, and then afterwards go through props. So hopefully, looks like our mic is still good to go. Sweet. As I say, I just bumped my mic, so sometimes it unplugs it, and hopefully we can bring up Draftkings. There we go. You thought that having the rain in the one afternoon was going to make the course even softer than it was this morning. It kind of rained in the middle of the day today, right? There was a few showers that were coming through. I'm not sure if you were talking about today or talking about tomorrow. If you're talking about tomorrow, that was what some of the forecasts were calling for, especially towards like the beginning of Wednesday. But late last night, early this morning, all the forecasts kind of cleared up for Friday. So I don't know if it kind of depends on what day you're talking about. The weather forecast has been all over the place, whether it's for today, which ended up being a lot rainier than usual, or tomorrow. Show you guys the prop betting. Sweet, let's do it. You like Ramey? Okay, I could see it. He's a hell of a showdown play. I don't never really like him for main slate because over 4 rounds, he's like almost always due to fall apart. But yeah, I get behind him in showdown. Ludwig, I can't do it. He's just going to be so chalky tomorrow. He's like nearly 30% for me. For Friday, yeah, of course. Yeah, if you're talking about for Friday, they changed that late last night. And as of right now, half the models have rain tomorrow. Some of the rain's in the morning, some of it's in the afternoon. It's thrown all over the place, right? I just kind of played it as a toss-up. I didn't play much of a weather edge this week, but yeah, it's the weathermen are absolute slapdicks. I'll just say that much. Let's go through some lineup construction stuff. So in terms of cash plays, round 2 showdown, there's not really any must plays. I'd say for round 4 showdown, right, top of the board becomes a little bit more of a priority, but and there's not a huge weather edge, right? Again, I'm expecting, let's say 0.6 to maybe a 1-stroke advantage. So I'm not going to go overboard there. So if you're taking cash plays, I would start down here in the 9K. I don't think it's a bad idea to take AM wave golfers, right? If you're trying to like break a tie. Starting with like a Homa, a Sanjay Im, maybe even going down here and throwing like an Eckroat or like a Sepp Straka. Maybe you don't take Eckroat because he played poorly round 1, right? You want to take guys that are maybe playing a little bit better. Let's throw, let's find someone who's at least under par, right? Let's make that the requirement for this lineup, or at least for the core when we're coming and making this cash lineup. Let's just throw Harmon in there, right? All these AM wave tee times, all playing pretty decently to this point. That's what I would focus on for cash, but there's no must plays. You don't have to build in that fashion for tomorrow. It's not really the kind of slate where, one wave is going to get a massive advantage out there. So I personally just wouldn't play cash tomorrow. I don't see a massive edge on that side, right? GPPs, we can always use game theory to our advantage, right? But in cash lineups, normally I try to find a tangible edge and run with it. I don't necessarily see that here. In GPPs, right, we take a lot of the pivots, right? There's a few chalky pieces that I'm taking. So let's say that I really want to play a Sanjay, right? He's that mega chalk piece that I'm taking. Well, then maybe I don't want to pair him up with 2 chalky pieces up here, right? So like, let's not start with a Sanjay and Homa, right? Like we did over there in our cash lineup, and then make our third man in somebody chalky too, right? So I think a mistake here, let's see, who would be chalky guy that would be a mistake to toss in here? I'm not playing much chalk in the 7K range, right? So there's not that much I have to worry about. But like, even if I went down here and took, let's assume I was playing Sa tomorrow, right? I'm not, right? He's not my player pool, right? Because I don't want to play that chalk. Like if I started with like these 3 in a GPP lineup, like that's where you start to get worried about duplicating into getting into 3-on-3s versus like thousands of other people in a GPP. Just, 1-2 pieces of chalk, probably like the limit that you want to stick to. So I don't know. I don't want to make it overcomplicated. It's really not all that complicated. Like people will talk about leverage ownership like over and over again. Like sure, you need to make sure that you're not taking like 6 super popular plays, but like don't go overboard with it. AM PM wave shenanigans. Oh yeah, I heard that with another tout, a few other touts that were talking about weather advantage. Yeah, I mean, in theory, it made sense, right? Like if there was going to be a thunderstorm, I know the one that I was listening to was talking about potentially, right, Saturday morning getting better conditions. I mean, maybe that still happens. Who knows? Funny how many golfers under 7K are scattered towards the top. I told you guys, I told you guys yesterday, right? You're going to see so many randoms towards the top. It's just that kind of golf tournament, bro. That's just how it is. It's a birdie fest. It's a birdie contest. That's just kind of how they roll with this. Let's see. Let's bring up Underdog. No prize picks board yet, it seems. We do have a live board, so we could talk about that, I guess. I don't know much about Valderrama, but we'll do our best here. Who are my top 3 bounce back golfers? I think Eckroat's got a chance. I don't think he played as poorly as what people think. He did lose quite a bit on the green today. Cannot buy a putt. Let's see who else. I don't know. I'm trying to avoid guys that played like really bad today. So I guess you could say like somebody that's just like 1 over par maybe would be a bounce back. Let's see. There's not many. Batia, I think it's a good one, right? Because he makes a bunch of birdies. He's going to have to go low to make the cut. Eckroat at +2, same thing, right? He's going to have to make 6, 7 birdies to make the cut. I kind of like those guys that are not way out of it, right? So not like a JT, not like a Hideki at like +3, +4. Like, sure, they could go out there, still have a really good round. It just feels like they could also go sideways really quickly too. Aaron Rye, I'm okay with it. Just a little chalky for me. I'd say -5. Look at the weather for live with prize picks bumped. Yeah, I'll take a look at the boards. Honestly, I don't know. I know it's where Valderrama is. They used to have like the Andalusia Masters there, I believe is what they called it. But I've looked at leaderboards for the last 3 years there. Other than that, don't know much about it. So let's see. Did they bump up stuff or bump down stuff? I guess is the question. So they got guys at 70. So I'm guessing they bump stuff up. Okay. Interesting. And we'll look at the weather. I don't even know where this is, honestly. All right, let me bring up the live website. We're going down that rabbit hole. We don't have a prize picks board, right? And we're going into props right now, so I guess we might as well. Let's see. We got live site up. Oh boy, we do. They've got so many ads on this bullshit. But luckily, I got my ad blocker for this on there, I believe. So let's see. So it's an Andalusia, okay. Real Club Valderrama. There's 0 chance this comes up. No? All right. Is it Valderrama, Spain? Is that what it is? No, Andalusia. Is that the city? Oh my god. Okay. I'm assuming that's the city. This tells you how much I know about a golf tournament. I don't know. Live guys. It feels like Live's gonna fall apart at some point, does it not? Okay, it's definitely not in Colombia. Andalusia, Spain. Okay, that's right. We're not going to Colombia for this. That's for damn sure. So no, the conditions don't look that bad, do they? Like 18 miles an hour winds, but like no sustained winds. This looks a little bit worse, right? This icon's a little bit more sustained. They're playing like midday over there. Keep that in mind. It's like 7 a.m. Eastern time, but it's like midday over there in Spain when they're teeing off. This GFS model looks a little bit worse. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like it's going to be kind of windy. I don't know if it looks that bad though. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe if you guys are looking at Wind Finder, maybe go ahead and link me that down below. You might have a closer wind tower than I have, but based on what I'm looking at, it didn't look that bad. Yeah, bumped up. Course looks easy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Par 71. It plays hard though on the European tour. It's a different time of the year though, Blake. So like, it's a conundrum to me. That's why I haven't bet anything on Live, and honestly, kind of why I don't wanna bet it. Sean hit the nail on the head. Actually, I was literally just about to say this. I think it was 19 under par one, right? The last time out. And then, yeah, +2's one here before. The cut line when -19-1 was +5. So, like, it was still playing difficult, but guys still took it well into par. So, like, so you're saying Soto Grande is the better wind tower? Yeah, let's go off of that, huh? That feels like it might be a little different. Let's take a look. I have to make sure I don't bump the cable that I used for this. Let's see, because or else oh wow, yeah, that looks significantly worse. Thank you for making sure I'm on the right wind tower here. So it's over here on the coast. Is that correct? Maybe we can find the golf course on here. I think that's it right there, huh? No, that's Real Club de Soto Grande. That's not the golf course, right? Or is it? Real Club Valderrama. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. I guess it is. It says De Soto Grande, but I'm assuming it's the same thing, right? It's Real Club. I mean, it seems pretty close to me there. If that's the golf course and we get like the perfect wind tower for it, that's pretty sweet. Let's see. This model is calling for crazy wind. This model's calling for crazy wind now. Yeah, because it's coastal, right? Okay. I'm with it. I am with it. I think I'm against it, Blake. It kind of looks nasty. I don't know. You literally told us to watch the round winner last night. Good stuff. You're saying Kest? Yeah, I told you he's a Monday Q. He's a stud. I didn't think he was going to do that. I can tell you that much. Somebody in my community contest played him, so I don't know. I don't know how he had that kind of insight to go out there and play Kest, who had a bogey and still shot -8. Good for him. I don't know. Kid's a stud, though. You're going to see him on some leaderboards. Just sent you the hole-by-hole breakdown. Sweet. And to you, they're hard to play. Hit fairways, you score. You don't hit fairways. They said pars will be tough. Yeah, like I don't want to nuke this board. Let me just say it that way, right? Like if we can find a little bit of value to take overs on, like I guess like maybe I'll take a couple overs. What's the par for this? A par 71, right? Like I just yeah, par 71. That's right. Oh well. Bidding someone to shoot even par or worse doesn't sound horrible. Yeah, let's go through the hole by hole breakdown. Speaking of that, Travis, it's a perfect time for it. Oh, got to bring up Discord first before I can share my screen on Discord. All right. First off, look at that. My boy T Swenny going off with the prop report that we've been putting together. So you love to see that. But let's look at this. This is from today. This is the prop report we've been working on, by the way, which I think we're going to try and make available at some point. But we're trying to get projections loaded in on it as we speak. So in terms of your better percentage for the day, it was 24.04%, which equates to 4.3 birdies per round. Okay. Pretty consistent there, but slightly higher in the morning than the afternoon. That makes quite a bit of sense. And in terms of bogeys, it was 14.78%, which was 2.66 per round, which compared to past years is a higher birdie average than what we're used to seeing, but also a higher bogey average than what we're used to seeing. The rough is more penal, right? Anytime that you have rain, the course plays slightly longer anytime that you have rain. So that makes sense, but it's also easier to throw darts. So that's the reasoning there. That makes sense. It checks the logic standpoint too. And you guys can see the hole by hole breakdown there as well. So in terms of going out there, getting your birdies, a lot of them are coming on your par fives, which I don't think should surprise anybody out there. Let's see what the holes with the most birdies, right? Hole 7, par 5, right? Hole 4 had 22, but you can see holes 1 and holes 8, right, that are par 4s. You got a bunch of birdies at those. Hole 14, hole 17, par 5s on the back 9 were absolutely shredded alive. Whereas the par 4s on the back, maybe not so much. So when we get pins that drop later, I'm going to be keeping an eye on some of the back 9 par 4s. If some of the back 9 par 4 pins are easier, I think the birdie average might go up. On the front 9, on the other side of things, right? If we take a look at holes number, was it 1, 4, and 8, I would say. I guess 4 is a par 5. Okay, so throw that out there. I guess so mostly like holes 1 and 8. Those are tough pins tomorrow. They maybe play slightly harder. So we'll have to take a look at it. To you're hard to play, hit fairways. Yeah, that's right. It's tough to play live, especially because we don't know the setup, right? It's a different time. Pins are up. Cool. Let's take a look. Dog outside is barking. It's making me jump out here. I don't know if you guys saw that. It's kind of embarrassing. Kind of just is what it is. I'm not scared of dogs. I love dogs. I have cats, but not when they scare me like that out of nowhere. That shit scares the shit out of me. All right, so I don't know the slopes on these greens like the back of my hand, so I'm not going to be able to do a full dive on this until we get off the stream. But hole number 1 looks tougher, right? It's a back left pin. I don't know the slopes on that, but you would assume it's harder. Hole 8, front right pin. Let's just double check on it, shall we? That should be easier, right? In theory, it's already a short hole to begin with. Today was a back pin, and it already led to a lot of birdies. and tomorrow it's in a bowl. Okay, so let's just double check on hole 1 while we're here, right? So it's like a back left pin. It's a real short hole. It's a good little like welcome to the golf course, I suppose. Pretty neutral pin location. It was pretty neutral today too, right? It wasn't really all that hard, really all that easy. Yeah, it's, I don't know, doing just a little cursory glance. Let's look at like hole 10, I guess. Where's the pin location on hole 10 gonna be? Let's be like back left, a little bit off the back, right? Not that close to the back. So that's like right here. Okay. It's pretty neutral. Let's see. What else is a par 4? I don't really know this off the top of my head, unfortunately. This golf course isn't so iconic, right? So yeah, hole 12 is going to be hard no matter what. It's like 500 yards, so let's not even check that. Let's look at hole 13. Hole 13 had a pretty tough pin today. It's front right tomorrow, which is going to be much easier than today, right? It was like up on a shelf today. Tomorrow, it's like on a flat. It's going to play even shorter. So, okay, I think that's helpful there. What's 14? Is that a par 5? It is. Okay, so let's not look at that. Let's look at hole 15. Where's the 15 pin? It's back left, so this one's probably harder. Yeah, this one's no doubt a little bit harder. So, okay, there's a couple that are easier, a couple that are harder so far. 16 is a back right pin. Let's see. Yeah, that's a neutral one. That's not really too hard. That's not too easy either. I know 17 is a par 5, so we'll skip that. And then 18 is a front left pin. So a front left pin location is very similar to today. It's got a little bit of slope from the left to the right. I'd say it's a little bit easier than maybe this pin you have the whole way back there, especially because you have that little slope to the right that can cause you some problems. I don't know. These pins, they look about the same as today, if not slightly easier than actually what we saw today. So I know some of the announcers on ESPN Plus were talking about the pins being a little bit tricky. And if that's the case, it's probably going to be a little bit easier tomorrow. I'd have to imagine. That's my take on the pins. Mahomes and Kelsey are up 3. Is that right? Is that actually true? Somebody down in chat said that they shanked 2 on hole number 1. And then they're out there winning by 3. That's surprising to say the least. I'm glad I didn't take an under on Mahomes and Kelsey for their holes 1. I took an over for Curry and the other one. How many holes have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson won? I'm assuming not that many, right? If they're down by 3 already, but maybe they'll be able to catch up, right? I just got to get them to those 4 holes gained. We'll have to see. You guys down there in chat rooting for Kelsey. I don't know. T. Swenny just loves to hop on the train for whatever people bet on the opposite side for whatever reason. I don't know what his problem is today, but Blake makes more sense. Blake, I know, is a big old Chiefs fan, so he's allowed to gloat all he wants down there. 0. Oh, great. At least they have 8 more holes to make it up, I suppose. Let's take a look at this underdog board. I'm not going to do this live stuff. Honestly, I'm probably avoiding it. If you're going to take anything, I'd take overs because like this course has played difficult in the past and it does look like it's going to be windy, but don't be surprised if it's super easy. It's a live golf tournament, right? They set it up differently than the DP World Tour is going to. It's a different time of the year. A lot of things could go either direction, right? So that's why I think I'm avoiding it. It feels like you're guessing how the course is going to set up, right? If you can find information out there, maybe video quotes or an interview from a player that gives you insight to how the course is playing, maybe you can use that to your advantage, but that's not something that I've seen to this point. Not that I've done that much research on it. So I'll have to see what I can find tonight. Just looking at it, like 3 birdies for Mickelson. It feels like he can still make 3 birdies, yet him still probably shoot over par at this golf course. So there might be value to some overs on strokes, but maybe some overs on birdies too. Like I know they had Pat Perez at 3 birdies. Like I know it's Pat Perez. Like the guy is, washed up at best at this point, but still it's 3 birdies. Like let's not be too disrespectful about it at that point. Has Prize Picks done anything yet? No, they still only have the live board up. Let's go into some of this PGA stuff where this over for Cam Davis, by the way, I think is one of the best props on the board. He didn't cover that prop today, but he went out there. He hit 17 of 18 greens and also hit, 9 of 14 fairways. The guy was on point with the ball striking. He just could not buy a putt for his life. They don't even have the shots gained on here. I don't know what they're doing over here on the PGA site anymore. But look at this. Yeah, 17 of 18 greens, 9 of 14 fairways. That is much better than what Cam Davis is used to. And what was his average putts per green? 1.82. So he just wasn't making anything, right? He was pretty much two putting every single hole. And he only had one bogey on the day too, which is surprising, right? Normally Cam Davis is going out there making 3-4 bogeys per round. That just tells you how good the ball striking was, right? How consistent he played, and why I'm so bullish on him tomorrow, right? He made 4 birdies today. That was despite only making birdie on one of the 4 par fives. Don't expect that to happen again, right? This is one of the longest players in the field. Most of the time he was offline with the driver. That was his issue. Let's see, 14, right? Offline with the driver, had to lay up. 17, actually wasn't even offline with the driver. So, I mean, just he should have done a lot better today than he did. So that's something that I'm looking at. And he played decently in round 1 too, right? -3. It's not like you're taking like a JT who played horribly in round 1 and just hoping that he bounced back. If Cam Davis plays to the equal level, right, he's going to make 5 birdies. Like he got screwed out there when it came to him going out there in the par fives. So that would be my favorite prop. The other prop I took with that was Max Homa, but he was at 4.5 birdies. So they bumped that up. I would assume he's probably at 5 over there in prize picks too, maybe even like 5.5 birdies. He's an AM wave tee time. He also played well today, right? He shot, I believe, -3 when it was all said and done. Yeah, you can see that there. Only made 3 birdies, right? No bogeys on the day. So kind of like Cam Davis, right? Hit 14 greens, did pretty well there, right? Hit 11 fairways. You would have expected him to make a lot more birdies. I'm taking advantage of that slight overreaction. So unfortunately, that's been bumped. If that gets posted at 4.5 on prize picks, you best believe that I'm getting to that prop as well. That's all the props I put in before the stream because the prop board came out real late. So there might be more value to take advantage of. That's for sure. I thought you were trying to talk shit. Travis. So I was talking shit back, but I guess you weren't. I need a Curry to get to 4.1. Don't need him to win the thing at all. I see him to get to 4 really badly because I took him with a Scherzer bet. And the thing is, Cowboys Nation gave me the Scherzer bet. So it's almost assuredly going to hit. The guy just does not miss when it comes to MLB. So like I can't have the golf pick missing when like he's for sure going to bring up his end, right? So that's just that's the issue there with that. Because I don't want to have that happen because then you feel like a donkey, Let's see what else we got here. Because let's find something for the stream. The Cam Davis prop I would obviously throw in still. Guys at 4.5 in the morning are kind of what I'm looking for. Doesn't look like there's many outside of, I guess, JT, which just feels disgusting, right? Like after how he played today, I still think he made like 3 birdies though. So like even though he shot like +4, what did he do? Was it 2 or was it 3 birdies that he posted? It was 3 birdies on the day. And how many did he make on par fives? Was it 0? No, he made 1 on par fives for the day. So, kind of like you saw with Cam Davis, that's not going to happen again. Like these guys are probably going to birdie 2, 3 par fives most rounds around TPC Detroit. If he can go out there, throw a couple darts, definitely can go out there and cover 5 birdies. The issue, of course, is that he's +4. He's literally 3 spots from last. And if he even starts remotely poor, if he's like +1 through the first 3-4 holes, then book it. The guy is just going to completely give up. He doesn't have the mental fortitude, right, to go out there and play all 18 holes. So I would put this as the stream slip there, right, because we saw that Homa prop bump. But yeah, on prize picks, I don't think they're going to post him at 4.5. Like I would have to imagine that JT's probably at 5 on prize picks. Cam Davis, I would definitely assume is at 5. And same thing with Max Homa. So that's for sure. Good opportunity. Kelsey and Holmes, big slice. Yeah, I'm sure as soon as I start watching, the tide will turn. But they can't get to holes like 6, right, without winning any holes. Then I'm not going to feel so good about that. Let's just say that much. Let's see. Did I stall enough to get a prize picks board? Doesn't look like it, huh? Let's see. I know Blake was saying before that the course looked easy. There are definitely some holes that look easy. I agree with you on that. But like some of the leaderboards here are tough. I'm tempted, just like you are, Blake, right, to take some overs. But I think it's for birdies where I would look. Like the Phil one, I don't hate, right? He gets consistently disrespected by the lines makers. So I don't hate that. And he's at 73 strokes. So that's 2 over par. That's something to consider there too. Who else do we have that's getting just completely shit on, right? Pat Perez is at 73, 72.5 for some of like the old geezers on Majestics, right? You got Ian Poulter over there, Henrik Stenson, Matthew Wolf, who I thought quit golf. I thought he retired. So that's kind of funny. So it's crazy that he's in the field there. Mark Leishman, he's been playing like dog shit. Just they give us the best players to bet on over here on Live. Lots of guys that are just horrible at golf all of a sudden. It has nothing to do with the $20 million that they got. Yeah, I don't know. There's the whole Live. I've had a lot of success with Live at times, especially like when they just set it up super easy. I've also had a lot of just screw overs because like I was talking shit with some of these players, and some of them just suck. Like they're just so washed at this point. Like I guess Peter's under. I don't hate. Like I mean, of everyone down low, like Peter's like sucks the least. He's like a legitimate tour player, right? What is he in Underdog? Do they have his strokes up there? Right, he probably hasn't gotten bumped. Oh, we're on the wrong board. Helpful, huh? Let's see. I guess we got to refresh it. Looks like they're taking a bunch of these down and bumping them. Yeah, I don't know if they should be bumping them all up. I kind of empathize with what Blake was saying. Where he's at 72 in both, actually. So I guess he hasn't been bumped up, or already has been bumped. Sometimes Liv just sets up shit easy. So I don't know. I'm probably avoiding that until I can find some sort of interview, some sort of information on how the course is playing or how it's different from now compared to when it's normally played. Because it's at a different time of the year. Conditions look a little bit rough. I don't know. It's just, I think it's hard to tell. Henrik understrokes. Yeah, let me take a look. Like a guy to shoot even or 1 over par, like that seems reasonable, right? Even if it's windy. Like especially like a Henrik Stenson, because like Henrik Stenson is from Sweden. The guy's not an absolute bot. And maybe Phil too, like for strokes. I don't know. Do I want Phil strokes or do I want Phil birdies? They both give you push equity. I guess what I'm just trying to figure out is which one has the higher hit equity, right? To get to 4 birdies or to shoot 72 or more. It's probably to shoot 72 or more, frankly, because he's got the world-class short game. You know what? We're going to do this for a stream for the slip too. Wow, I said that backwards. Good shit. A slip for the stream. Let's do that. Let's do $100 on that. We'll run that here for round 1. I'm not going to go crazy on Live for tomorrow, but we've got no PGA board to work with. I'll refresh it on here. But I feel bad, right? I want to be able to give you guys something over here on the prize pick side. But based on what we have right now, I guess we're going to have to deal with Live. So yeah, it was, if you didn't catch that there, it was Henrik under, and it was, where's good old Phil? Phyllis Mickelson under 73 strokes. So don't come yelling at me if this doesn't hit. I told you guys just now that I thought this was a complete crapshoot. So if you're going to bet it, maybe bet half a unit. I can only bet half a unit over here on prize picks. So that's kind of what I have to do by default over here. But you have to think, shooting 1 over par, both of these guys end up hitting. 2 over par, Phil ends up pushing. If they end up setting it up easy like they do for a lot of these live golf tournaments, you got to think a lot of these guys are going to hit. You're saying birdies for Phil. I think I'm going to take his strokes. I don't know how penal it is off the tee. That's the thing. If I knew more about the course, I'd probably know which one to go with. But if it's not that penal off the tee, I feel like strokes is better. But if it is penal off the tee, birdies is probably better. Let's see. Can we find an overhead map of this golf course? That would be a godsend at this point. Like, there's got to be a way to find this golf course, right? They have it on here somewhere. Like, right? Course information. Okay, we're getting closer. Oh, look at that. We found ourselves a map. So there's only one water hazard, it looks like. Okay, I like that. But the issue is, I don't know if there's trees out there. Is this like a tree-lined golf course? Let's see. What is this course even officially called? Real Club Valderrama. Real Club Valderrama. Let's see what this joint looks like together and figure out what the hell happens off the tee. And luckily, we can refund that slip, right, if we need to. Oh, there's some trees out there. Oh, boy. We don't like trees for Phil. Trees and Phil do not get along. Okay, yeah, no. We're going birdies. Because like I said, trees and Phil do not get along. So let's go ahead and do that. Look at Max Scherzer. Absolute masterclass. Already has 7 strikeouts over there and got only like an hour and something of play. Absolute good God. And yeah, I guess that's on there. Who cares? Doxing myself for how much I won on prize picks, whatever. They don't even have Henrik on there for birdies, do they? That's kind of unfortunate. Let's just throw Phil on there, right? Let's do one birdies, let's do one strokes, and move on from there. All right. So we've got those two on there. Let's see what's down there in chat. Have they won one hole? You're worried about the Phil double bogey? Yeah. When I saw the trees, I started getting flashbacks to Phil going out there just like double, triple bogeying a hole. Yeah, I think we'll take our chances with the birdies. I think I'm with you there. Hopefully, we get a little turnaround with this match content because it looks like that pick from Cowboy Nation that I told you guys was like an absolute lock. Was like not going to miss. Looks like it is an absolute lock. So we'll get to swing that. Best of luck out there with all of your lineups for tomorrow, all of your slips that you do. To catch all of my content, all of my exposure for tomorrow, check out my Patreon. I'll be doing quite a bit of research on Live here, trying to get a beat on what to expect out there. If I see an edge, definitely adding some content, some slips on that side. And then, of course, when Prize Picks drops their board, getting into everything on that end. So best of luck out there, guys. Check it out if you guys want to see all that exposure. And I'll catch you guys for the round 3 and 4 streams. Also worth noting, before we're hopping out of here too, check out the community contest. I posted a link before. It's also in the description of the stream. It's $5 entry. Get in there, play for some bragging rights, and for a little bit of extra money as well.